people? It's your boy, Brass Tux in this bitch. You already know. Shit, I'm losing my voice in this bitch. I don't know what to say to you. I'm losing my voice. Now, I've given you my top 10 list. But what kind of man would I be if I didn't give you my bottom 10 list? Now, this isn't to say that these movies I name aren't better than the 1080p. Some of them are, right? But for 4K transfers, they just disappointed me. That's pretty much what I'm saying about these. And these movies are in no specific order. Number 1 isn't the highest. They're just 10 I picked up and I've just put them randomly, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. Number 10, Iron Man 1. I think I was a bit nice on this 4K review. It was a bit of an oversaturated mess and I was expecting more of an uptick from this 4K. Man, it felt like an upscale, the first one. They got better as the movies went on. Number 3 was really good. Number 2 was better, but number 1 was just, for 4K, it's fucking bullshit. I don't know what to say to you. Give that shit a miss, shit. My boy, 1316 Killer. In his review, he just broke the discs. I can't be breaking the discs. The disc cost me money in this bitch. What can you do? Avoid number 1 like the plague. Number 2, number 3, you might be okay, but number 1, no. Number 9, you've heard me bitch about this shit before. And that's the first 2 Bourne movies in this bitch. What pieces of trash they were. You know what upsets me? And I've been biting my tongue for a long time. I'm not talking about YouTube per se, but if you go on your top 2 sites that review 4K Blu-rays, they're inaccurate in this bitch. HD Digest and Blu-ray.com talk a lot of shit. They gave the Bourne Identity at the time 2.5 stars out of 5. That means it's average. No, it wasn't average. That was shit. Let me tell you how shit. I put the disc in, press play, took a seat back, checked to see if the right disc was in that bitch. That's how bad the shit was. 1 star is too much. The second wasn't much better. They're both pieces of trash, I ain't gonna lie to you. Number 8, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1. Upscale at best. Man, I watched the trilogy. A lot of people asking why didn't you review it. I knew they were going to be trash. First one was trash. Second one was slightly less trash. Third one was slightly less trash than that. They all look like upscales. Avoid that shit. Seriously, waste of time. Number 7, The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Grinch stole an hour and a half of my motherfucking life. Cause I watched that shit and guess what? Trash. Transfer okay was sharper. It was a little better, but I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting a HDR extravaganza at least. What I got was shit. That's what I'm gonna say about it. I didn't even like the movie, to be honest. Number 6, I'm gonna get some hate for this shit, but I'm just gonna tell it like it is. Dracula. I used to jerk off to the werewolf sex scene, but you know, that was back in the day. I mean, don't judge me, shit. I think a lot of people did, shit. Good old days. I was expecting to jerk off again to this shit. I was expecting that shit, because I was expecting some 4K goodness, see more shit that I like. Guess what? Lots of noise in that bitch. I think the only thing 4K about this movie is the noise. It was a little bit sharper, but nothing much else. Don't waste your time on this trash either. Or if you're gonna pick it up when it's discounted. Well, does it look better than the 1080p? Sure. But how does it stand with 4K? At the bottom of the list. Number 5, Unforgiven. Uptick in detail, but noise once again. Disappointing. I was expecting a lot more from it. Not really gonna blow you away, people. A little bit disappointing. I think this one got restored. I'm not sure, but if it did, they did a shitty job because it was an okay transfer at best. And that's me being very generous. It looks like an upscale once again. Great movie, an absolute classic that should have deserved the absolute classic 4K treatment, but it didn't. Number 4, I need to apologize. In some ways, it looks a lot better than the 1080p. And when you zoom in, it looks like Madame Tussauds in this bitch with all the DNR. Wax works in full effect, and that's Terminator 2. The DNR on this is insane, guys. It takes away so much detail on the close-ups that it actually ruins the transfer for me. It does. I watched it again, I thought, yeah, DNR's a bit too much. It's distracting. Anyone watching it will say, why are they looking all waxy and shit? Because it's a waxy mess, that's why. But at the same time, it's better than the 1080p. But the waxy side brings it down. It's disappointing to me, which is why it's on this list. Number 3, we're getting controversial with this one, The Prestige. And I'll tell you why. Because it was part of an amazing Chris Nolan collection. All of them were good to reference transfers in this bitch. Even Batman Begins was decent for what it was. But this one was a HDR mess. The brights were too washed out, the darks were too crushed. I don't know what to say to you. I was expecting it to look a lot better than it did, and it didn't. Is it an uptick? Is it better than the 1080p? Yeah, but by a couple of pubic hairs. You grab a few pubic hairs, that's how much better it is. Number 2, The Accountant. Another great movie. But god damn, I'll be damned if there's a difference on that bitch. Ben Affleck looking a bit sharper, the gun he has looks a bit better, the colours are a little bit more vibrant, but apart from that, you could be fooled that you're watching the same 1080p transfer with a little bit of upscaling. It's an uptick, but I was expecting a lot better from it, and it didn't deliver. It's a little better, but it ain't much better. Number 1, this doesn't mean it's the worst of the bunch, but like I said, these movies are in no specific order. I may give this a pass, but I don't feel like giving it a pass today, and that's The Arrival. Great movie. Director's intent was to say, well, we don't want to add anything else to it. It's the director's intent to make the movie look dark, crushed, and grainy in this bitch. Okay, your intent is to not have it look better than the 1080p, then why the fuck release it in 4K? HDR, shit, I don't even know where, oh looking, HDR, slightly better colors here and there, but shit, pretty much non-existent in this bitch. It's more or less like the 1080p, why release it in 4K if your intention is to make it look like a 1080p transfer? So fuck you. Good movie, but you fucked up for releasing it in 4K. Taste your intention, guess what? Your intention sucks balls, and not in a good way. These are my 10 most disappointing transfers of 2017. I know some of you may have some others on the list which didn't quite make it, but generally, throughout the year, there have been very, very good discs released here. These movies aren't reflections of the movies themselves. They are still upticks. Perhaps in most, 90% of them are the best way to watch the movie, but I was just expecting a lot more than what we actually got. Apart from the Bourne Identity, that transfer was absolutely trash. But other than that, guys, these are still the best way to watch them, but you wait for the bargain bin for these discs if you really want them. And that's pretty much it. These are my top 10 worst 4K Blu-rays of 2017. It's your boy, 4K Rockstar. You already know.